Hey, welcome to the channel. It's Jack, the muscle and mobility maker with Stronghold Strength and Conditioning. And today, I'm going to be showing you how to resolve your thoracic outlet syndrome. But before we get into it, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine, and it doesn't get better than that. So take advantage of it. Ready? Let's go ahead and dive into this one. All right, like I said, today we're gonna be showing you how to resolve your thoracic outlet syndrome using a mobility-based approach. And we're gonna be looking at a whole chain here along the front of the arm here. And that's usually where you're gonna be experiencing your symptoms, where it can kind of run from either your neck into your shoulder or even along to the hand in that sense. So we're gonna be looking at freeing up those tissues along by improving the function of the joints. We're going to look at the tissues directly around that could be impacting it with some self-myofascial release. And then we're actually going to give you some strength exercises at the end as well to help you improve your posture and your overall mechanics around your shoulder so that you are not constantly running into this issue. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the exercises and get you started. All right, the very first thing we're going to start with is a anchored band on the feet over the shoulders, and then we're going to extend out laying. Drive your shoulder blades down and back into the floor by pressing your elbows into the floor each time here, and then reach out overhead. Here we're working on our overhead mechanics. Now in the beginning, you want to start by reaching your thumbs toward the floor. As you get more comfortable with this position of the reach, then you can start to rotate your palms toward the floor a little bit more as you reach up overhead. Now, this might be a little bit more challenging. You might notice some more tightness in the forearms, around the elbow as you're rotating. Do your best to reach overhead with that form and continue to build up, reaching with your smallest fingers and seeing how flat and how much rotation you can actually generate from this position. Next, I'm going to take that same band and I'm going to take it around my neck as if it were a towel draped over my shoulders. I'm going to cross over the band so one part is under and the other part is across my jaw here. I do want my jaw lightly clenched as I do this. I'm pulling the one end down toward my hip as I assist myself in rotation with the other. With that rotation, I want to make sure that the back of my forearm is coming toward the floor. So don't reach with your knuckles or the back of the hand, but think of the whole forearm coming to the floor here as you rotate the chin toward the floor, the ear toward the floor, and open up that arm each time. Still working with our band, we're going to anchor it at hip height on a post and start by placing it at the front of the shoulder here. I want my arm in an internally rotated position because we're trying to restore true internal rotation at the shoulder here. Then I'm going to add some circles at the shoulder against the resistance of the band and then relaxing as the band pulls me back deeper into this position with the chest opening up. Then I want to move it down to my elbow and perform the same movement here. This is putting the arm at a little bit more extended position here with the arm back behind you, the elbow back behind you. Again, working to lengthen in this internally rotated position and pull out those tissues to help restore natural positioning to them. And lastly, with our band, we're going to take both hands in the band at the end of the loop here. Internally rotate so our thumbs are pointed down and you'll feel yourself gripping the band and rotating against the resistance of the band. Let the band pull the arms to a fully extended position, pull the shoulder blades down and back in this position, and then lean forward with your glutes tight and allow the band to even create a bit of an arch in your thoracic spinal column. So you will be leaning out forward and arching into this position as the band pulls you into big stretch through your biceps and pecs and the anterior part of your shoulder. Next, we're going to move into some self-myofascial release of the pec. Here I'm pressing, overextending the arm, and then allowing the kettlebell to sink deeper into those pec tissues. This is a 35-pound kettlebell. You can also use a dumbbell if you need, but I'm holding it just below my clavicle on those pec tissues, and then I'm going to be taking it through various movements here with my arm that are going to involve those tissues to help free them up. So here I'm going hip to overhead, keeping my shoulder blades down and back. And again, every time I contract the muscle, I want to allow that kettlebell to sink a little bit deeper into those tissues. This is a snow angel movement, so think of doing snow angels while you're laying here with that weight on the pec. And you'll feel some tender points. What we want to do is go ahead and address those tender points by actually not shying away from them, but kind of staying in them as we work through these different ranges of motion and movement. So if there's a particular position or movement that draws out a little bit more tenderness to those tissues, that might be the one you focus on a little bit more in that time. All right, and lastly, we want to work on the mechanics of our arm altogether by strengthening and creating stability. So here I'm doing what's called a prone swimmer. I have my chin tucked to my Adam's apple, my glutes are tight, pinning my pelvis to the floor, my abs are engaged, bracing against the floor, and then I'm doing a swimming motion. So I reach out long overhead, I'm going to rotate my palms down, pull that water out, and then circle through under my armpits, coming near my body. Each time I want to try and increase that range of motion a little bit more, almost reaching further behind my back as I do that stroke. Here I'm doing a supinated grip pull apart of a band. I want a little tension out front, but I really want to focus on keeping the shoulders pulling down and back, my thumbs rotating back as I pull, and a nice strong flex of the upper back each time as I stretch that band over my chest. I'm doing tall kneeling because it makes it very easy or apparent to keep that core engaged. So if I'm doing it wrong, I won't feel anything happening at my abdomen and glutes, but I do want to make sure that I am engaging those, keeping my glutes tight, kneeling as tall as I can, and then bracing my abdomen to ensure that I'm supporting the work being done up above at the shoulders. And lastly, a snow angel on a foam roller here. I'm using a very light load. There's not much weight on those blocks. Don't be deceived by their size there. That's probably about 10 pounds that I'm working with. So we want to start very light in this movement and focus on just taking our arms through a nice full range of motion, allowing those weights to keep us lower to the floor. And again, start very light and build up this movement. My wrist is slightly flexed toward my forearm. I do want to make sure that I'm curving it toward my forearm there and not letting the weight bend my wrist back. My elbows are rotating up toward the ceiling each time. And I start down by the pelvis, keeping my low back engaging the foam roller and supporting myself with that spine and a good core brace as I'm doing this movement throughout. My shoulder blades are down and back, hugging that foam roller the whole time as well. All right, and there you have it, a mobility-based approach to help you attack your thoracic outlet syndrome and resolve it. If you like this video, make sure you let me know by clicking that big thumbs up down below, and take a moment to share this one with a friend. Maybe you know they're struggling with thoracic outlet syndrome as well, or they just have shoulder issues that you think this would be beneficial to them to have, then pass it along their way. Now, if you're somebody who's been struggling with thoracic outlet syndrome for quite some time now and you're looking for more direct help resolving your issue, what I want you to do right now is drop down below in the description to fill out a coaching application and schedule a mobility blueprint call. This will be our opportunity to get on a Zoom call together so that I can first of all take you through an assessment, gather the information I need to tailor a program specific to your needs, and then lay out for you in full detail what that program will look like and answer any other questions you have about it at that time as well. So if that sounds good to you, drop down below right now, fill out that coaching application, get that call scheduled, and we'll start moving you in the right direction. Last but not least, if you have not already, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Saturday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine, and it does not get better than that. Welcome to the Stronghold Army. We'll see you next week.